There is a persistent thought I've been having, like a splinter in the damn mind, that reality will not let itself get more complex. How should I say this? More like it won't let you build too complex simulations within itself. So, like, video games are fine because they're very simple. But as soon as you start introducing, like, 3D technology and, like the Oculus, like the stuff that goes over your eyes, those kind of things, it seems like it just gets rejected. And I think I have an explanation for this. And if you're not familiar with like the shit I believe in, I'm gonna give you like a very brief rundown. And so basically, like, there's a school of thought that is becoming more popular that this whole thing is like a simulation, but it's not like a computer simulation. It is a little bit like the Matrix or whatever. Some people take this in the direction of like, this is a prison planet. We live in a like evil realm ruled by a demiurge and constructed by like archons and shit like that. And I don't really buy that. I think our world is constructed by us. And I think because we're so flawed, the world is flawed. So this idea has been around for a very long time. There was that guy, I forgot what his name was, but he was Chinese, and he was like a philosopher or writer or a poet of some kind. And he had a dream that he was a butterfly. And this dream was so real, it was so vivid that he truly believed that he was the butterfly and this world was fake. I don't know if that's like past life recall or stuff like that. I don't know if it's having to do with like reincarnation. Maybe he was a butterfly in the past life. Or there's also the Buddha who said, and these people existed like thousands of years ago. Okay, this is like very early discoveries that people had. And the Buddha said that this whole world is an illusion. And it's like, what the hell did he mean by that? And it's, the more you meditate, the more it becomes increasingly obvious that reality just shouldn't work that like the way that it does, because it's so, reality should be random, but it's not. It's very, very ordered. It's so ordered, in fact, that like things that we think are random, when you start meditating, you are able to take in a broader pattern within reality, that certain occurrences seem to occur like non-randomly. They occur very purposefully. For instance, like I keep this is like one of the indicators that you're like becoming more spiritually aligned. I don't like to use the term enlightened because enlightened is a very loaded term. It's like, people think when you become enlightened, you basically become like Neo from the Matrix and you can like do whatever you want and you can float, and like it's more like enlightenment makes you realize that you're not special. It's very enlightenment is very like humbling because it's nothing. You don't get anything out of it. You realize that it's nothing. You realize that you're nothing. You realize that this whole shit is like meaningless. And that's not a bad thing. A lot of people take that to mean that's a bad thing because like their egos need for there to be a meaning. But it's more like, if there is no meaning, then your life is extremely important. It takes on like a new value because you are creating meaning like every moment that's going on. Because when you don't have the belief that anything is meaningful, everything becomes meaningful, ironically. Because when you think certain things are meaningful in your life, it's like you're not living your life. You're just waiting for those moments that feel meaningful to you to occur. And like everything else is just like filler. And that's not how you should be living your life. But so this, like, coming back around to this whole universe is fake type shit. There's also the whole astral projection thing that is going on that like people just can't explain. They want to explain it away, that your brain is just like simulating the whole universe, you know, that when you are astral projecting, you are like, it's not real. Like your senses, whatever you're sensing is not true. But a lot of spiritual leaders are like, no, that shit is real. That shit, like, because there have been experiments of like people who they astral project and they retrieve information, like real information, and they wake up again and they have it, you know, or they two people astral project from like separate rooms, very like soundproof, like sealed rooms, and they astral project and then they talk to each other and they go back into their bodies and they can remember the conversation. So it's like either astral projection is real or our brain can like do telepathy on such a level that like we are simulating that we are moving like through space, because like time and space is just I personally think like time and space is an illusion. Like I think it's kind of being generated in our consciousness as we go through it. And so it's like if you've ever played a video game, you would know that like the whole game isn't fucking rendered. It's only when you're looking a certain direction that shit gets rendered. And it like I really do think like reality could work that way. Like it definitely could, because there's this whole thing of like the what's that called, the particle waves, the double slit experiment. Okay, like a lot of people love to bring this up. Basically what it is that there is a particle moving through these slits, and sometimes when it goes through the slit it hits like where the slit cast a light. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, like basically the particle, when it moves through the slit, it either acts like a wave or it acts like a particle, depending on whether you're looking at it or not. I don't want to get into the details because I'm not a fucking physicist, so I don't like know exactly like the experiment's details. I just know that it changes when you look at it. So what does that tell us? That tells us that like observation just has some kind of effect on our world. And it like it's not just that. It's also there was this experiment where they had baby chicks in a cold room, right? They had them in the corner. They had them in the bottom, let's say the bottom right corner of the room. And so they had also a machine with a heat source on it. I think it was a candle or something like that. And the machine was programmed to randomly move around the room. Like the chicks were in a cage, right? But the heat source was free to roam around the room. Well, when the chicks weren't in the room, the robot, I guess it behaved like a Roomba or something. It just went like randomly. Okay, and maybe not a Roomba, because a Roomba like moves in a grid or whatever because it has to clean the house. But it moved randomly. But when the chicks were in the room, the robot it spent more time around the chicks, which is why would that happen? And a lot of people think that because our observation has some kind of effect on reality, that these chicks brought in the heat source closer to them, like consciously, just through like observation, through like wanting it to be closer. And you know, maybe this, like, I kind of wanted to do another video on this, but maybe that has to do with like the mechanics of like manifestation and stuff. But it's somewhat semi-related to the subject of this video, which is we live in fucking clown world. Okay, so now that we're on the same page that this whole thing is like a simulation, it's not real, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that reality right now just seems so fucking wacky. Like, it just doesn't seem real. It seems like if you've ever played the older like GTA games where like everything was satire, everything was just like a joke, like even news stories would be like ironic. This is like what that feels like. It doesn't feel real. Like the whole Epstein files stuff, like some of the stuff in there was so ridiculous, like Stephen Hawking, and you know, every famous person you could think of was like in touch with Epstein, and it's like conspiracy became real. And maybe it always was real. I mean, obviously, right? If the files are coming out, but like, why now? Why now? And then Trump becoming president, like that guy was like a reality show host. He was a celebrity. He was one of the most outrageous like characters in like popular culture for a long time. Like if you don't remember Donald Trump before he became president because you're too young, like he was actually just a figure of like parody. He would like every rich person, like stereotypically rich person in a movie would be somewhat based on Donald Trump because Donald Trump's whole thing was like, oh, I'm so rich and I'm an asshole and like I am a businessman and I know like what I'm doing and like you don't know anything, you're nothing. And like there was a whole mythology based on around Donald Trump and like the art of the deal, like business people everywhere like loved the art of the deal. Like it was a must read like business book. He had this show in the 2000s called The Apprentice, and what that was is it was a reality show where people would compete in like business challenges to become Donald Trump's apprentice. Okay, and so his signature thing was like you're fired, and that's how he would like eliminate contestants on the show. And the show was like really good, I have to say. And then he became president, and it was just like, what the fuck is going on? And yeah, it seems like reality has just become more silly. For instance, what's going on right now? Fucking, I think his name is like Palm Beach Pete or something like that. Like people thought he looked exactly like Epstein. They took a photo of him like driving down like the beach side, and he had a convertible and he was wearing glasses, and people were saying he looks just like Jeffrey Epstein except with glasses on. And they were like, Epstein's still alive, whatever. So then this guy, Palm Beach Pete, he came out and was like, I'm not Epstein. I'm just Palm Beach Pete. Like, I am not Jeffrey Epstein. But then things got a little weird when he started saying like, oh yeah, but me and Epstein were like really close. We were like friends. We partied together and we were neighbors. And it's just like, what? Is it like, why were you so close to Jeffrey Epstein and you look exactly like him and you're like the same age and you're like it's weird. It's fucking weird. And like AI, like people have asked AI to like analyze him and Jeffrey Epstein's face, and there's like a 95% match. And it's like, dude, were you his like clone? Were you his fucking Michael Bay, the Island type clone where like he just had you close by so he could use you for organs, like harvesting your organs if you needed them? Was that the deal? It's strange. It's strange. And then not just that, but like Charlie Kirk. The whole Charlie Kirk thing was crazy. I mean, when that happened, like it was freaky. Like it happened in 4K. Like there probably is still footage of like the up close assassination like view, because there was literally a camera like 4 feet away from him, a high definition camera. So someone has seen that footage. Someone has that footage. I don't know if it'll ever get released. Maybe it'll be like the JFK assassination where they release it like decades into the future. But there was a camera like very close to him. But even then, like the footage that was captured and spread, like that was so detailed. Like you could slow it down and you could see the bullet like enter his fucking neck and come out, and fucking jungle juice sprayed out of him. It's insane. Like this is our reality, okay? And not just that, but like recently, maybe a few days ago, Charlie Kirk's pickleball instructor, or I don't know if he was his manager or something like that, he died in a pickleball accident. Like what even is that? What is a pickleball accident, dude? It's literally the safest sport you could possibly play. Old people play it instead of tennis. Like, did the fucking pickleball like launch into your throat or something? Like, how do you die in a pickleball accident? But yeah, it's just really, really weird. Reality is getting fucking weird. It has been. And like, it seems to me that this whole reality becoming weird thing is kind of like a defense mechanism of reality to make us more present in reality. and it's kind of pushing us away from, I don't want to say voyeuristic, but more like observant type behavior. It's kind of calling us to be more active, you know, in reality, within this reality, because like if reality is not being used properly or as much as like it needs to be, maybe we will stop generating it through our consciousness, because I believe reality is generated through our consciousness, and like this whole reality is kind of like a group project. Like our consciousness is being used to like generate reality in real time, and if a tree falls in the woods, no one hears it because it doesn't exist. Like the only thing that exists is what can be observed. And I think this does extend to animals also, because animals are very similar to humans, to the point where I would say humans are animals, not animals are similar to humans. It's like we are straight up animals. There isn't a it's not like we're separated from the ecosystem. We are part of the ecosystem no matter how much we want to separate ourselves from it. So consciousness is generating reality in real time, and like if we start making like virtual reality in the sense where we like put goggles on and we or we start generating like 3D effects within reality. So like the digital cannot come out into like reality, and we cannot go into the digital. Be like consciousness refuses to let that happen for whatever reason. Like people have an aversion to putting on 3D goggles. People have an aversion to like or reality cannot let us make like 3D images like pop out of the screen. I mean there was the 3DS, but like that technology kind of went nowhere, you know? And it was very much based on like your point of view. Like it wouldn't be 3D like for everyone. It would just be, you have to be looking at it from a certain angle. And so yeah, like we rejected 3D movies, we rejected virtual reality, we're in the process of, it seems like, rejecting augmented reality with like the 3D glasses and stuff. And I just feel like it's on purpose, because like logically, and this is what the tech sector doesn't get, like logically, this would be the first thing you think of when it comes to like advancing technology. So I said in the last video that like technology, the way it's advancing, it started out really big. It's getting very small. It's getting a lot smaller over time. It's getting better over time. It's getting faster. But now it's trying to like latch onto us. Is it like the Apple Watch is on your arm at all times? The smart glasses are on your face at all times. And Elon Musk is like kind of like jumping ahead and is like, okay, well, let's put a fucking brain chip in your head. Okay. But everyone's like, no, like we don't want this shit. I think I don't see a lot of people with smart watches anymore. I don't see a lot of people wearing smart glasses. And you might say that it's because like smart glasses aren't popular yet. And I would say they've been around for a while. They've been around for some time. I remember when the Snapchat sunglasses came out, and that was like, they were hideous, but a lot of people had them, and it really seemed like that was the start of the smart glass craze. And now like it seems like no one's talking about smart glasses except in the negative. So when people are filming like content, it's mainly guys. And I hate to say that as a guy, but like a lot of guys are shitty, especially when they're trying to do content, because they'll do like pranks or they'll do like dating stuff, like the fucking Sam Pepper type shit. And they will use smart glasses to like film themselves like doing pickup lines on girls. And first of all, that's lame as hell, but like it just shows how this technology can be used like not in a good way. There's also been reports of like people who are masseuses like filming like the girls they're massaging, because like women have to take off their clothes in a massage room and shit. And there's like an expectation of privacy, obviously, and like it's just making it easier to like film stuff like privately. And if you look at the smart glasses, they're so huge, and it's just like, how do these people not know? But at the same time, it's like it's not on them to like know whether someone's wearing smart glasses or not. It's like there should be a light on the glasses first of all when you're recording, and there probably is, but they like disable it somehow or they cover it up, and it's just like a really huge invasion of privacy. And I think also the government might be like pushing this as well because they want a surveillance state. They want to be able to see like all the Ring cameras. They want to see through the Ring drone that's in your house. Ring is an evil fucking company because they do let law enforcement just like have complete access to the Ring cameras and shit. And I was seeing yesterday that the flock cameras that are the public, like I guess they're like CCTV cameras in I don't know if it's in England or the US, but those can be accessed by anyone. If you like, you can go to a website and you can just see that. And yeah, I think the government has a very big vested interest in like making smart glasses and like just cameras everywhere. You know, eventually people are going to start buying like personal robots for like cleaning around the house and picking up shit and, you know, stuff like that. And of course, those are going to have cameras in them because people want, specifically the elite, the people in power, they need to see what's going on in people's houses. And it's just like, dude, that's none of your business, first of all. And second of all, it's like the elite have many ways to observe us already. Like we have a cell phone that we spend all our lives on, and there's been like hundreds of years of elite power, and they got along just fine without having to spy on every citizen. So it's just really stupid, and they use it as an excuse of like, we're catching terrorists. You know, if you say crazy stuff, it's because we're catching terrorists. We're gonna arrest you. There isn't any freedom of speech in this country. But yeah, it's like, it's just stupid. It's really stupid. They just want to look into your house because they have weird interests in that. I really don't want to know like why they want to so bad. And yeah, like it. So people, thankfully, even normies are kind of like, I don't want all this shit in my house. You know, I don't want a camera on my fridge. I don't want a camera on my heater. I don't want a camera on my fan. You know, why? Why does my fan need to have a microphone on it? And at the same time, reality is just getting weirder. And in some ways, it's getting weirder, but it's also due like I'm saying, it's because of technology, and not just like it's somewhat consciously becoming weirder. It's also more like, since we've integrated technology so much already in terms of like phones and stuff, like humanity got somewhat of an upgrade because now we can transmit information like instantly anywhere. The whole world is just a click away. It's all just so like our brains become compressed and melded together. But you can at this point like still opt out. Like if you put a chip in your brain, you're not going to be able to opt out. Like right now you can just turn your phone off or just shut the laptop or turn the computer off, as Tyler the Creator would say, if you want to get away from it. And or just close your eyes, I mean. And I think in the future, like, they're gonna make that harder to say no to, and that's what their goal is. They think they're doing it for money, but it's really perpetuating this weird like imprisonment of consciousness where like a lot of people believe that technology and cell phones are a construction of the god Saturn or Kronos, or like whatever that force is, like just kind of control. It's associated with time and space. It's associated with like the 9-to-5 work week. It's just like trapping consciousness and using it for like labor, and it's a form of like power exertion. And so they think the cell phone is just like that force of nature that like, you can see it as a negative force of nature. I just think it's just a natural force of nature. Like it's kind of like you wouldn't call a hurricane evil. You know, you wouldn't call a tornado evil. It does terrible things. It does bad things, but it's an unconscious like natural force. And that's what I think like the whole Saturn Kronos type thing. Like if you do your research, it's associated with like black cubes. And I wish I could tell you why right now. I need to do more research, but like it's associated with black cubes. That's the conspiracy. That's what the conspiracy is. Black cubes. And so that's like the symbol. And you see this all over like Silicon Valley. You see these black cubes. And like I don't think any tech person is doing this consciously. Like the conspiracy theorists will convince you that like this is all a conscious effort. You know, they worship these evil forces. And I don't think it's conscious at all. I think they're just looking for money, and the easiest way to get it is through exerting power over people and redirecting their attention or their labor, you know, and harnessing that. And that's just how you make money in this world, unfortunately. Like our world is not a cooperative world. It's semi-cooperative, but it is mainly competitive because they call it like a job market. Like you're bidding, you're putting up like your bid in a market. You're auctioning your time. And so the cell phone has just accelerated all that. And there are good things about the cell phone. Like, don't get me wrong. This is why I don't think it's I don't think it's perfectly logical to say that like the tech sector are like devil worshippers and they worship like all these insane like biblical, like pre-biblical demons. At least they don't do it consciously. Maybe they're doing like the work of them, but I don't think it's conscious. Maybe some, you know, maybe like one or two do, but like I think on the whole, they are not doing this shit consciously. Because if you talk to any tech person, they really do believe that they are bringing humanity forward and that they are providing like a great service to the world. When obviously like, yeah, maybe on some level, but a lot of it is exploitative. You know, like the cell phone, going back to the cell phone again, like it has become, as I said in my last video, like our lives revolve around the internet and the cell phone. And because all of communication is done now through the cell phone, you hardly ever write letters. You hardly ever send mail. I only get mail to get packages and like for like certain documents that I need sent to me. And like that's it now. I mean, back then, like you used to send letters, you used to send telegrams, but now all that is done through the phone. Okay, so now there is a like it's all encompassing. The phone is just all encompassing, and people want to live in the phone. Some people do. Tech people think we want to spend all our time in the phone, but the thing is, the phone is draining. It's soul draining. It's soul sucking, and people can feel that. So like there has been a movement of people just like normal ass people, and it's not even a movement. It's just like a natural reaction to how the cell phone has invaded our lives. So I see a lot of people who are now like, they don't whip out their phone all the time in public, you know, like as a millennial, when smartphones first became popular and were taken on by basically everyone would be on their fucking phones. Like you couldn't go anywhere without seeing people on their phones. It was very big to be a millennial and like on your phone all the time. I never did it because I instantly like, not that I'm better than everyone, just like I just consciously like felt like, no, I shouldn't be on my phone all the time because, you know, that is just giving away all your attention, you know, like you should be enjoying the moment on some level at all times. But a lot of people just unconsciously would just take their phone out and just be on their phone. And like all of my friends who are Zoomers, I'm millennial, my friends are Zoomers. They're like now I hardly ever see them on their phone. I see them on their phone when they are like bored. They like, if we're in a group setting and like most of the group is having a conversation, but one person is like not really joining in on the conversation for whatever reason, they will get on their phone. That's when they get on their phone. It's not like when I was a millennial, everyone would sit in a circle and like have their phone out and try to be talking, but like it was more of like a parallel play kind of thing where everyone was just on their phones. And thankfully I did have like a friend who would just tell people like, hey, like don't be on your phone when we're hanging out, you know, it's fucking rude. And I've been on dates like in the last decade, you know, where like you'd be on a date and the girl's just like getting on her phone, and like it's not even because she's bored, because we're like actively having a conversation, but it's out of like habit that they're doing that shit. And it's just like, fuck, dude. Like, millennials were, I don't know, cell phones hit millennials like crack in the black community in the 80s. Okay. Like, it was that bad. People were like driving with like, and texting. Like, I hardly see that anymore. And when I do, it's older people. It's like millennials and up. I never like, yeah, Gen Z probably does it, you know, once in a while, but like, it used to be so bad. It was so bad when the cell phone first like got integrated. Like, there were so many PSAs, public service announcements of like, do not text and drive, because I fucking like, my sister died or like some shit like that, you know, like these teens were like texting and driving. It was like drinking and driving. It was that bad. But now you don't see that too much anymore. I mean, when you go to driving school, yeah, you'll see that a lot, because that's like pertinent to the subject being taught. And yeah, so like the cell phone, there's kind of like a big pushback now, and this is all through consciousness. Consciousness does not want to be trapped. It actively resists being trapped, because this is reality. Virtual reality is not the real reality. And Elon Musk will try to convince you and say like, you know, this is not base reality. And, you know, I think he's right. I think this whole world is an illusion, but it's a consciousness illusion that we are perpetuating ourselves. I don't think this is imprisonment. A lot of people will convince you that there is a demiurge and there are archons and there are like forces beyond our control. I don't think that's true at all. I think we were a fucking monad that fucking, which means like an all-encompassing being, it, like everything and everything, alpha and omega, like God, I guess if you want to reduce it down to that. And then it like split itself into the universe and allowed itself to evolve within that frame. I don't know if you've ever seen Adventure Time, where Jake, he is a dog with stretchy powers. There is an episode where something happens to him where he falls asleep, right? But he falls asleep into his body because he's stretchy and he's wiggly, you know, he can shape shift a little bit. So he falls asleep and he goes into his own body, but he doesn't realize it. And I guess in his sleep, he created a whole world within like his body. Like he just kind of like stretched into his own body and created like a world. And he wakes up in there and he's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And like there are other people in there that like he created other consciousnesses within his body, and like they're all just like, they kind of discover that he is he's the one who created like the reality. He's like asking them like, hey, how do I get out of here, you know? There is a part where like Jake goes, one guy helps him. I guess he's like a scientist type. He helps Jake get out of his own body through like the hole where he like went into and created this reality. So he gets out, and then the scientist guy follows him, and he sees Finn across the room like eating ramen, and he looks like fucking Cthulhu or something, and he's just like freaking out like, oh my god, it's hideous. Like, and as soon as Jake comes out, like the whole reality within his body collapses, because he just becomes consciousness. He becomes conscious of like what he is doing. Like he created this reality. He forgot that he did that, and he like got out of it. So I think that's what's happening. I think on some level we were all one thing that just collapsed in on itself, and it created its own reality. It's ever evolving. We're all connected, you know, whether you think so or not. This is all one unified field, and particles come from like the fields crossing over, and that creates like matter and stuff like that. But yeah, like to go further into it is like not possible, because it couldn't be. It like, consciousness will not let us create a copy of itself within itself. Okay? It's not, at least right now, it's not possible. Maybe in the future, like when there's more people, there's more like consciousness being generated, maybe there will be like artificial intelligence. But I think for now, like it's very much not possible. But the tech sector really does believe that it's possible. And they keep trying to make it happen. And they're building artificial intelligence, which is, it's not real artificial intelligence. They call it a language model for a reason. It doesn't think. It like, it's kind of like those paper fortune tellers, but like on a grand scale, you know? And it just analyzes what you're saying and tries to have a conversation. Like it tries to simulate where that conversation would go using information of other conversations, you know? And that's what it is. It's just a conversation machine. It's no better than like what Cleverbot was when if you remember that. Cleverbot used to be a little, it was like a website you could go to, and it was like the first like chatbot. And you could have a facsimile of a conversation with it. It was not real. It was acting real. But people like believe that shit. Anyway, not to drive the point home, not to keep like going around in circles. I don't think a virtual reality is possible. At least not anytime soon. Augmented reality maybe, but I think most people just don't want shit on their face. So they need to find a way to do it without putting shit on our face. So what they'll probably end up doing is maybe contacts. I think at some point everyone will have like these contacts that augment reality. But even then, once they start putting ads on there, people are going to move away from it because people just don't like their attention being exploited, obviously. When it's not obvious, it's fine. When they don't have a choice, that like they'll accept it, because we used to have TVs with advertisement and like people accepted 5 minutes of ads, and they're trying to bring that back. But we've had it. We still remember the golden age of streaming where there were no ads. Everything was on Netflix or Hulu. And yeah, like you would pay like $7 a month and like that was enough. But now there are so many streaming services. As soon as like 4 or 5 of them popped up, people rightfully predicted that we were just reinventing cable from base principles. And so because of that, we are moving back to pirating. And this is not advocating pirating YouTube, okay? So don't get me on that. But I think as a whole, people are moving back to like the simpler things. And yeah, that like reality is reality. Anything like we're not accepting any substitutes. That's all I'm saying right now. So I would not despair about AI. I would not despair about like virtual reality becoming a thing. Like I can't afford my fucking Oculus or whatever, my Apple goggles. It's all right. It's not the next thing. The next thing has yet to be seen. Okay, maybe it's the Shape Store. Anyway. Oh yeah, and they shut down Sora, by the way, which is like a good sign, because it's another example of like we're trying to create reality through artificial means. And it's like we've taught machines how to dream, but they don't have anything to pull from. They don't have the emotional content to create meaningful art. So it all just becomes a copy of like real art, but it's a soulless copy. It's a soulless copy. And I didn't even think that could be possible, because before AI, like when people copied or traced, it was obvious. Like it was like, oh, this looks so good that you must have traced it, you know? Look, your Berserk panel that you supposedly drew in class, it's traced. But even now, like even traced stuff, copied stuff, you know, oh, I used it as a reference. You copied. That is 100 times more soulful than anything AI could generate. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, don't despair. That's it. That's the message I wanted to convey today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.